It's time. It's Swain Event time.
My man.
It is time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. This is real sports talk for the real sports fan. Talk to him, Swain.
Get into his mouth and a red flag.
SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. November the 6th, on a beautiful Thursday in East Tennessee. I'm Jason Swain, live from the Low T Center studio. Hope everyone is having a great morning. Dead End Barbecue brings us Swain Event each and every Tuesday and Thursday right here on your free app for Apple devices. Also, you can stream us at SwainEvent.com. You can see the show on YouTube and Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook as well. The Swain Event show page there. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. My guy is ready to rock and roll this morning. And Ben, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It is the Thursday. I'm looking forward to watching some college football games over the weekend. I feel like I have a plan to do that and watch some games. I got a short-term plan, and I'm ready to roll, man. I'm ready to roll. So it was good to hear you yesterday during Josh Heupel's press conference. It's not appointment television as far as entertainment standpoint, but it was good to hear you there. It was good to somewhat get some answers about what happened on Saturday and what can happen moving forward. But Ben, sir, how'd it feel to be back in that setting?
Not as fun as I would like it to be. It's never fun to be in that setting, coming off a loss, and there's a bunch of questions that need to be asked, and not fun questions to ask. So I much preferred the previous Monday when it was my first press conference back, and they were coming off of a win to Kentucky. That one was a little more enjoyable than the Wednesday one, coming off of a loss and during a bye week. But it is what it is. Interested to see how this team finishes the season, because as frustrating as things are right now, they're still a 6-3 football team with a chance to go 9-3, and everybody has a right to be frustrated. There's reasons to be frustrated. Things need to be adjusted, changed, reevaluated, whatever word you want to use. There's no shame in going 9-3 after the quarterback situation that you had to deal with this past offseason. That is a good season, 9-3 in the SEC and dealing with some things that you had to deal with. But with that being said, something that we touched on Tuesday, if you turn around and lose two tough games coming up to end the season to your rivals, I mean, 7-5 and 8-4 look a whole lot different than 9-3. So you can kind of still claim if you want that it was a good season if you're able to go 9-3 and potentially go win a 10th in a bowl game. But man, if you turn around and lose one of the next two, and I'm talking about Florida and Vanderbilt. They're going to beat New Mexico State. So if you lose one of those last two, I mean, it's that 8-4 looks a little bit different, and that 7-5 certainly looks a whole lot different, and that is certainly a failed season if you end up losing your last two games to your rivals.
I think Josh Heupel can win, bigger here. I think he's done a really good job. I like Josh Heupel. I'm saying this because I feel like I have to say it because folks take and turn things and spin and create narratives that's not there. You mentioned going 9-3 after what happened with the quarterback situation. Let's not forget we are in this position because we mismanaged Nico. Like, we are responsible for that. So, in year 5, you're supposed
Mismanaged him how?
You put all the eggs in the Nico basket. You did not see the writing on the wall with how things were going to go from a recruiting standpoint. That was the issue from day one. You didn't put him in his place. You never checked him. You never, you let Dad get comfortable to the point where he started making demands, and it festered and it festered and it festered, and it got to the point where what happened. I'm sorry, I'm not blaming all that on Nico's family. Both sides.
Oh yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah,
I don't want to blame it.
Yeah, so both sides
blame it all on Tennessee either.
No, both sides could have handled that better. So when we're talking about, man, you go 9-3, and considering the quarterback situation, yes, I understand that. But let's also understand that we are the reason why that situation happened too, not just blaming all on Nico. That's all I'm saying. With that being said, the quarterback is playing better than Nico played last year. So that don't really register with me. Like, oh man, hey, if you would have told me 9-3 with the quarterback situation, I'm sorry. That has nothing to do with why we're here, to me, because the quarterback play has been better. It's been better, man.
It has been better, but Joey's two worst games this season are two of the three losses. He did not the numbers can tell you what they tell you in the box score. I didn't think he played particularly well at Alabama, and I don't think he played well at all against Oklahoma. I don't think he saw the field well whatsoever. I don't care what the box score says about him throwing for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. The two interceptions were really, really bad. And quick tangent, everybody's saying that everybody's pointing out Joey's interception total on the season. I think he's up to 8 now. That's misleading. Are we not going to point out the arm punt against Georgia on 3rd and long? Like that to me is not him making a boneheaded decision. He had the two where Miles.
You mean the one to Mike Matthews?
Yes.
That counts, Ben.
I'm not saying it doesn't count. I'm saying I personally don't view that as the same as him throwing the two that he had against Oklahoma this past weekend, to where the coverage completely fooled him, and then he got greedy and just made an awful throw and sailed it. To me, that's not the same. But if I understand what you're saying. Yeah. But he also had two where Miles Kitselman couldn't catch the football.
That's off target, man. Miles Kitselman's hands got on it, but they were off target in traffic. And Josh Heupel said during, and I know you was going through what you was going through, so you didn't, lock in.
I was still listening.
You were? Okay. Remember, Joey said, and Josh Heupel said that the pass was off target. When you're throwing the ball in the middle of the football field, it can't be high and off target. And just because Kitselman got his hand on it doesn't mean he should have caught it or it was an easy catch. Those passes against Mississippi State, those were on Joey more than they were on Kitselman, is what I would say. So
I view it differently, but that's neither here nor there. Again, like I said, that was a quick tangent on my part. I don't think he's been as everybody made him out to be the quarterback that we saw in Oklahoma at App State. I don't think we have really seen that in terms of the turnovers this season. I think there is context to the interceptions aside from the Alabama one leading up to Saturday's game against Oklahoma. We had not seen that version of Joey Aguilar, in my opinion, really up until Saturday night. But that was by far his worst game of the season. That was the point that I was getting to, is that he did not see the field well whatsoever. He had his 2 worst turnovers of the season. Josh Heupel, post-game and yesterday, was asked about it, how he left some things open in the RPO game where they had good looks to run the football, and Joey still threw it when he shouldn't have. Now, Josh also threw in there that there is the big pass play to Mike Matthews. I'm not sure if he was talking about the Mike Matthews touchdown when the game was pretty much over, or he was referencing a different play to Mike Matthews. But he did say, like, Joey should have run the football on that play, and it still resulted in a big pass play to Mike Matthews. But my point is, he did not play well at Alabama. He did not see the field well at all against Oklahoma in the RPO game, turnovers, and made some throws that were inaccurate. So, like, I feel you. Yes, the quarterback play has been better than it was with Nico, but Joey's also had a big hand in 2 of their 3 losses this season too.
Yeah, 100%. The quarterback always has a big hand in a loss or win. But let's just say you had better protection. Let's say you had a running game. Let's just say you had a punt returner that wanted to play football that day, a situation that could have been prevented if he wouldn't have been on the team. Let's just say that the defense was able to make, more stops than it did against probably the worst offense, in the SEC. So on top of Joey's bad play, you still should have won the game if everything else was better. Even with Joey coming in, which, again, he's been better than Nico this year. You got to give Josh Heupel a ton of credit, and this is something that we talked about before the season, when everybody was looking at Joey's interception numbers at Appy State and going, I don't know about this guy. And we talked about how Hendon and Joe Milton were guys that didn't come in with great stats from their previous schools, and Josh Heupel did a lot with those guys and won with those guys and felt like that he could do the same thing with Aguilar if you manage him. And what we've seen when Joey plays well is we've seen that management. Saturday was not good management of Joey Aguilar. Yes, you blame him for making, bad decisions, but 45 passes against the best pass rush in the SEC? That's not a good plan, Ben. That's not setting him up for success. That's setting him up to get killed. That's setting him up for doing exactly what happened last year. Sack fumbles and giving them extra possessions and extra opportunities. And another thing that is mind-blowing about Saturday, and hey, it's Thursday, but it's a bye week. This is just how it goes. We don't have anything else to talk about. Tennessee, football upcoming game. But the other thing that's mind-blowing about Saturday, which I didn't mention Tuesday, I don't think, on this show. I think I mentioned it on the other show on Monday, but I don't know. The other thing that's so mind-blowing is you had an open book test, and you still failed. Because the prior week, Lane Kiffin showed you what to do, Ben McKee. Charlie Weiss Jr. gave you the blueprint, my man, the week before. Carved up the Oklahoma defense at their place. Just do what they did.
Well, as you pointed out, going in to the game, something that you talked about before the game, because I believe I made a comment, something along the lines of, if you're a Tennessee fan, you should feel confident watching the Ole Miss offense carve up the Oklahoma defense. And you reminded me that the Ole Miss offense is more difficult to prepare for and to defend than the Tennessee offense. So, like, I know it's an open book test, but is it really an open book test if you're not running the same stuff?
You got a couple days to put in some stuff. You got people, you got a staff
I feel you, but I'm just saying I think if I'm Oklahoma, I'd much rather prepare for Tennessee's offense than Ole Miss's
I
offense.
understand. But again, you had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to put in stuff that Ole Miss did against Oklahoma. That's a lot of time.
It is. Let me ask you this: there were plenty of opportunities on Saturday, were there not?
You could say that there were, but and Joe.
So is that on the coaches or is that on the players for not executing? Because the offensive line, I mean, we talk about that being Joey's worst game of the season. I mean, it's either that or the Alabama game, for which game was tougher on the offensive line. You did not get that same consistent push. You had a breakdown on the right side offensive line that led to the scoop and score fumble, and that's really when the game and the momentum started to change, because it looked like you were on the verge of going up 14-0, and then what happens if you do go up 14-0? And if you do go up 14-0 in that moment, let's say Oklahoma still has the success offensively that it does, or the points that it does. I mean, that's a 14-point swing, and all of a sudden, if you need a score at the end of the game, it looks a whole lot different than needing back-to-back onside kicks to recover. So, like, are we looking at the coaches for not putting the players in position to succeed after Ole Miss gave you the blueprint, or are we looking at the players for not executing the way that Ole Miss did?
It's always both, Ben. When you lose a
For
game,
sure.
it's always both. Like, it may weigh heavy on one side or the other, but the answer is always both. But in this game, I weigh the coaches heavier than the players because I didn't like the offensive scheme from beginning to end. You had a screen pass to Mike Matthews on a perimeter, things that you can do versus a very aggressive front. You got 30-something yards, an explosive play, and we didn't see any of it for the rest of the game. We started getting greedy. We started taking shots down the football field. 2 of them were picked off. He had another, sack fumble. Joey was hit. It affected his internal clock. It affected his accuracy. It affected his calm in the pocket. Like, the pass rush affected everything. So help him out. Help him out. So yeah, I put more on the coaching staff with this game more than the players. The players are doing what they're told to do, and the players are playing hard, except for a couple plays here and there. But
Boo Carter.
I'm going to the phones. Hey man,
as each day passes
hold on.
and as we get deeper into this football season,
Get it off your
I
chest.
still cannot believe that Josh Heupel allowed Boo Carter to remain on the football team in August. After he had multiple blow-ups in August as well, after he made the decision to keep him on the team.
Mismanagement, man. I couldn't believe it either. If I was on that player council, no, coach, nah, man. Mm-mm. I'm going to the phones. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are we today?
We good, man. Who are we speaking with?
This is Justin down in Florida.
Hey, Justin. Sound like you got a little under the weather a little bit, man.
No. I just I've been on hold. This isn't like a complaint. I've been on hold for 3 minutes. You guys hit several points that I wanted to bring up.
Not bad.
As far as Joey's interceptions and the worst games he's played, I also find it ironic it was also the worst game the offensive line played. Going back and looking at Joey's film at App State, he is off target or maybe forces a ball when he feels pressure. Now, what I saw on Saturday, Swain and Ben, what part of the field was working very successfully for Tennessee's offense?
The short passing game?
Ironically, yeah. What did I feel like we got away from as the game went on? It became either runs or a little bit deeper shots.
Yeah, we was impatient, selfish.
Why? why this is another thing that, I think we've seen from Heupel at times is we're going to stick to what we do, regardless of the score, regardless of what's working that day. Where's that in-game adjustment to go, God, they're having a hard time. Like, we can get the ball out of Joey's hands fast, not let the pass rush get there. And it seems like they're protecting against the deep ball, and we're going to mess with Joey's eyes by rotating safeties and this, that, and the other. Like, why not just stick to the quick screen passes? Or I don't know what the route is called. Is it a drag when the tight end kind of goes from one side just behind the offensive line?
Shallow cross.
Shallow cross? Okay. Stuff like that are high percentage throws that are, maybe it's not a quick score, but it keeps our defense off the field, you keep the drive going. I don't understand why we get away from what often works. That's probably
my concern, Justin, with
Go ahead.
what you're saying is, and this is from somebody who did not play football, obviously never coached. I do not know football at the level Swain knows it. Coaches know it. But my concern is that their offense is so simple that it is harder for them to make adjustments because they don't run as much as you typically see from an offense. Now, I don't want to make it seem like they just run 3 plays and like it's 2 run plays and 2 pass plays on the play sheet. I don't at all mean to insinuate that. I know it's not that simple, but like I do wonder. I mean, it is a simplistic offense, and I mean that in the most kind way possible because it is a successful offense that works. That is part of what makes it a successful offense. We kind of know the things that make this offense work. So I wonder if when those things aren't working, is there really anything built into the offense to go to make those adjustments? And I know that you said sticking with what is working. That's kind of different than what I am talking about. But I think a separate concern, at least for me, is that because they are so gung-ho on doing what they do, I wonder if there are adjustments built into the offense that they can actually go to.
Okay, so if you want to use that line of thinking, all right, then we've got a bigger problem systematically than can be fixed. If you're saying that, hey, it's just a simple offense and there's not a lot of things you can do to it, what I was getting at, Ben, and I'll put it in baseball terms that I know better, if you're up on the mound, you got a great slider working that day, and guys are just not hitting it. And all of a sudden, you stick the slider in your bag and start throwing more fastballs. Aren't you doing the hitters kind of a favor?
Yep.
Why not just stick with what's working until they start diving out over the plate, reaching for it? Now you come in with the fastball. Oklahoma didn't look like they had an answer for that. Stick with it. That to me has nothing to do with simplicity or necessarily the play design. It's just more, hey, the pass rush is getting to us. Let's get the ball out of his hand. Having him hold on to it, longer. I mean, we as a defense are hoping teams. We're protecting against the deep ball because, our secondary's been, kind of porous at times. But really, with our pass rush, we want those guys holding the ball a few seconds more. Why? Because it allows an extra second for our pass rushers to get home. All I'm saying is, regardless of the simplicity of the offense, stick with what's working until they show that they're going to consistently stop it. And another thing, I don't understand why. I mean, this is year 5. Is it illegal in this offense that you can't get the running backs involved in the passing game? I know they've dropped stuff, but at least keep some of those linebackers honest.
They dropping him, Justin. I mean, that's probably why.
Okay, so does that not go back to coaching?
I mean,
players I know still got to make plays and they still got to catch the ball. But, I mean, I've seen some of those passes, and it looks like these guys are just looking upfield before they catch the ball. That should be fixed very quickly.
Yeah, Justin, and man,
I just think they got bad hands.
It's good to hear from you. I appreciate the phone call, brother.
All right.
I think
Later, guys.
I think they got bad hands. I think that's what it is.
Running backs finally caught a couple passes on Saturday night too. Of course, Peyton Lewis made that one-handed catch. The running backs can't catch a cold all season long, and then he had that one catch where he was getting hit at the same time and made the one-handed grab.
Well, when the running backs are showing the quarterbacks their numbers, they can catch the ball. But when they're catching swing passes and they're running north and south, and that ball is placed maybe on the upfield shoulder or back shoulder or back hip, like if it ain't perfect and they're not stationary, it's a tough catch for the running back. So that makes it hard, man. That makes it hard for you when it comes to play calling options and how multiple you can be and how you can spread the ball out when you have a group that struggled catching the ball this year. But yeah, it's a good conversation, man. I would prefer not to be having this conversation this week. I would prefer talking about how what we did to win the game, but that's how it is. November 6th. Can we spend all day laughing at LSU and being thankful we are past our decade of this dysfunction? I am removing the interim tag, but you are not our permanent AD. Yeah, I mean, we could spend all day laughing, but I don't know how much we can laugh at them because they won 3 national championships with 3 different coaches last 20 years. So they won 2 national championships in baseball and a national championship in basketball, ladies basketball. So, how much life you want to do at LSU before you look in the mirror and go, I wish we was LSU. No? Just saying. I mean, it's like Auburn. Like Auburn is dysfunctional in times with their administration, but they've had multiple coaches go undefeated in the last 20 years. They've played for a national championship. They've won a national championship. I mean,
speaking of which,
basketball team got to the Final Four.
Twice. Speaking of the basketball team, were you at all following along with Stephen Pearl's coaching debut against Bethune-Cookman on Monday night?
I can't believe he took a shot at Hugh Freeze, man. God,
I can. It's Stephen Pearl.
Never mind. I probably just need to rephrase that. It was not smart to take a shot at Hugh Freeze. I'm not surprised, but I'm not surprised. I told you, I have a really close family friend that used to work on Pearl's staff, and he wasn't the biggest Stephen Pearl fan, okay? And so, I had a good relationship with Stephen Pearl, good experience with Stephen Pearl, but I've heard other stories. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that he said that. But it was really dumb for him to say, and really classless for him to say. Because
also, you barely beat Bethune-Cookman, and the only reason you beat Bethune-Cookman is because the referees called a million fouls in Auburn's favor, while Bethune-Cookman could barely get to the free throw line. Neville Arena was Rupp Arena South, which I think I mentioned that last year when Tennessee played at Auburn, or one of the recent Tennessee-Auburn games. Auburn's home arena has turned into a mini version of Rupp Arena, to where Auburn gets all the calls in that building.
You watched the game?
All the calls.
You watched the game?
Yeah.
Huh.
I watched it after I got done with Rick Barnes' press conference.
How did you watch the game, Ben? So millions of hardworking Americans out here, we haven't been able to watch any sports.
Because excuse me, I was using my parents' DirecTV login on Watch ESPN.
So you was engaging in illegal activities? Is that what you saying?
Well, I wasn't engaging in it. They weren't using it, so I used it.
Oh man.
Rodney wants to know what Pearl said. Steven said, I know Auburn fans are tired of being told to be patient, so we're going to get our butts to work. But he didn't say butts. He said ASS. I know I can say it, but I'm still not going to.
Yeah, just, bro. Steve, come on, man.
Steve. You did not call him Steve.
Steve. Come on, Steve. Don't mention anything about Hugh Freeze.
Did you chuckle when you realized that he was in overtime with Bethune-Cookman?
Did I chuckle? No.
A lot of Tennessee fans were joyous in that moment.
It's fun. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny anytime a school like Auburn struggles with a team like Bethune-Cookman. So everybody laughs at everybody, right?
Right, but that had become a little bit of a rivalry for Tennessee basketball the last decade, really. The entire time Rick and Bruce were there. So I know I had a lot of Tennessee fans in my phone that were enjoying that moment. My last Auburn question for you, and then we can move on.
All right.
All been in the house today, baby.
It's gonna be weird, man. Hold on. It's gonna be weird when John Summerall is the head coach.
That's where I was going. Is John Summerall is your former high school teammate at good old Grissom High School in Huntsville, Alabama. Shout out to the 256.
Yeah.
Are you hoping that he gets the Auburn job? And I say that in the sense of he's going to be one of the top candidates mentioned for any job.
Yep.
Assuming he gets a job this offseason, are you hoping that he gets that it is the Auburn job?
Yeah, I hope it's the Auburn job. I hope it's Auburn over Kentucky because Kentucky's not serious about winning football games. They're not serious about the football program, and I would hate for John to go up there because he's loyal to Kentucky. That was really the only big time program that gave him an opportunity to play at the SEC level. He was a safety in high school, but he wasn't fast enough to play safety. So they brought him in, put some weight on him, made him a linebacker. He's loyal. Don't go to Kentucky, John. Go to Auburn, which I don't think that should be a problem for John because his wife graduated from Auburn. They grew up as Auburn fans. So I don't think that's going to be I think it's a perfect match. Auburn.
He can be loyal to Auburn.
I think it's a layup for Auburn. And he has ties down there because he was the head coach at Troy. He was an assistant at Troy. And that's right down the street. I think it's a easy layup for Auburn to hire John
Which
Summerall.
means they won't do it.
They probably won't. I don't see why they wouldn't, though.
Unless they try to get Lane. Lane wanted that Auburn job the first time around.
Yeah. Auburn might be a better gig than
If
Florida
I
right
were
now?
Lane Kiffin or John Summerall or any coaching candidate, I would be scared in a way to take the LSU or Florida job because of the dysfunction. Like I hear you with the national championships at LSU, and that is what is so attractive about LSU. But boy, are they dysfunctional. And if you're not winning a national championship, it is not. It does not seem to be a fun place to be. And there's a lot of pressure with what you said. 3 coaches that have won a national championship.
Yeah.
And you've got, again, like I said last week, and everybody saw, you had the governor come out and say he would let Donald Trump pick the next head coach before Scott Woodward, who was the AD at the time.
Yeah,
like, where else does that happen?
Yeah, that's a mess down there. I wouldn't want to go down there.
It would scare me. I know it's an attractive job. I would absolutely listen, but I would be nervous. Same with Florida. Florida's dysfunctional. Florida's not aligned the way that they would hope. So I don't know where you were going with your Auburn comment. I kind of cut you off, so I apologize for that. But I mean, out of LSU, Florida, Auburn, Auburn's even a little dysfunctional as well. So it's not like they're just the perfect child. But I think people are kind of sleeping on Auburn being right there neck and neck, at least with LSU and Florida for the best job.
It's a good job, man. It's a good job. It is a good job. So Lane's going to get paid a lot of money wherever he goes. And then John Summerall, he's going to make a lot of money wherever he goes. And he's waited his turn. And, it's time for him to reap the rewards. There's a lot of big jobs open. I don't know if all the jobs will be filled by coaches that the fan base will like. It's probably a good thing we're going to see some assistant coaches, some coordinators get opportunities to be head coaching jobs, because everybody wants to hire a proven head coach, a proven winner, but you might have to go the coordinator route, and that might be the best situation for some schools. All right. Big Bad Leo. If we get the block on the sack fumble picked up, it's a touchdown to Mike Matthews on the quick slant. We're all mad because of how close we are to being a one-loss team at this point in the season. We thought was a burner year. In my not so humble opinion, let's lock up these future and current star players and go win a ship in the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah, people are mad that you lost 2 games that you beat yourself. Just because people thought it was a burner year. First of all, it shouldn't be a burner year in year 5. That's part of the issue. Wouldn't you say, Ben?
Yes, I mean, it goes back to one of your first points on the show today about how you had a role in the Nico Iamaleava situation. You may not have been the leading cast member. It may have been more on their end than your end, but you still played a role in how that situation played out, and you were forced to go get a different quarterback, and Joey gets here in May, and that I think that is where the burner year comes from, is because of the quarterback situation, and you played a hand in that.
Yeah. So I know I tweeted this Tuesday, but really haven't said anything about it here because this is our first time back since I tweeted what I said. But what I said was media members looking to get some content out there, get some interaction, get them clicks, get them plays, get them listens. I get it. I'm in the content business. But this is what they do. They take a small minority of Tennessee fans talking about firing Josh Heupel, which is stupid, okay? And then they'll create content on that small percentage, while most of the people who are thinking straight are saying, "Hey, man, we just want it to look better. It just needs to be better. That's it. No one's trying to fire the head coach. It just needs to be better." Most of the fans feel that way. And then what happens is this content is made talking about Tennessee fan base wanting to fire Josh Heupel. You deserve everything that's bad coming to you if you run this man out of town. And oh my God, your fan base is so terrible. And it's like, bro, that's not what the fan base is saying. The fan base just wants better. And I'm not going to get lost in the sauce. I'm not going to get lost in the weeds. I'm not going to get distracted when people are like, "Oh, this is a throwaway season." What's supposed to be one? It's year 5. Year 1, year 2, those are throwaway seasons because you're building with somebody else's players. You're building your culture. You're building your leadership. Year 5 is when it's supposed to be built. So I don't want to hear any excuses about Well, what's supposed to be? Why not? It's year 5. The reason why what's supposed to be is because we didn't do what we're supposed to do in year 1, year 2, and year 3. And you're paying for it now, which is why we're playing all these true freshmen, not because you have to, like year 1 and year 2, when we've seen the Dooleys and the Butch Joneses come up in here and the Pruitts come up in here. We have to because we didn't handle business the right way a couple of years ago. And I hate having to continue to bring this point up as if I'm ripping continually on Heupel. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I'm just, like, I'm not falling for the excuses. That's all. I just hold him accountable for where this program is in year 5.
I think the good news, though, is that he doesn't make excuses
He does
publicly,
not, which is, I love that about him.
because he does not say anything at all.
Well, that's true. but he don't make excuses, man. He may not say anything, but he don't make excuses.
Yeah, and I think Tennessee fans much prefer him not saying anything than the Butch Jones or Derek Dooley, and even sometimes the Jeremy Pruitt method at times. I don't want to speak to Leo, or speak for Leo, but I do think part of his message, at least there seemed to be an underlying tone of the old adage of it's never as bad as it seems. I think that is what he is trying to get across, because there has been a little bit of a feeling of the sky is falling this week, and the sky is not falling. There's some, again, a lot of reasons to be frustrated, rightfully so, some things to question, but it's never as bad as it seems, and it's never as good as it seems. And I hate to use a loss as an example, but how good did Tennessee fans feel after that loss to Georgia? I mean, even I came in on here on that Tuesday and was saying that Tennessee fans should feel as good about their program as they have in a while, because they were able to hold up against Georgia, and they haven't been able to do that the last couple of years. Well, I didn't realize that Georgia is not the Georgia that we've seen the last couple of years. I mean, how close is Georgia to being in Tennessee's shoes with 3-4 losses right now and being on the outside looking in? So again, it's weird because it was a loss, but the vibes were good after that Georgia game. You were feeling good about the state of the program. At least I was, because, again, I'd watched Georgia beat up physically on Tennessee for so many years, and it appeared Tennessee held up physically against Georgia, even in a high-scoring game. And now you fast forward to the middle of November, and, well, I know Georgia's record says one thing, but I don't think this is as good of a Georgia team as we've seen the last couple of years. And then we obviously know about Tennessee's issues. So it was not as good as it seemed coming out of that loss, or how you felt about Tennessee in the month of September. And I again, maybe I'm misinterpreting. I don't want to speak for Leo, but it seemed like there was an underlying tone of it's not as bad as it seems this week. I think that was maybe one of the points he was trying to get across.
I can go with that. You still got 3 more games. You still got New Mexico State. You still have Florida. You still have Vanderbilt. I think people are concerned that if you play like you play in those losses, which those are better teams in Mississippi State, better teams in Arkansas, better teams in Kentucky, that you're going to lose those games. And at that point, if you're 7-5, then, Ben, you know what the offseason is going to be like. You know what the conversation is going to be like. And it's going to be one of those situations where, kind of is what it is. All right, let's go back to the phones. Garza Law Hotline, 865-255-03. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
What's up, Turkey Man?
Hey, buddy. Hey, I hope everybody's doing well on that end. The thing that's concerned me is 2 or 3 things, but really concerned me there is we know that this offense has to be successful by running the ball first. We have to be able to run the ball.
Not first. Not first.
Well, be able to run the ball. I mean, it's around running the football. Because you look, when we are good, we're 200-something yards on both passing and rushing. All as a whole. And it just puzzlement to me why we can have such a good running backs and we put it all on the passing, because we need to run the ball. other thing that's frustrating, we see Florida, we see Georgia, we see these teams over the past years in our drought, us not taking advantage as a program of them being down. I mean, Georgia's back up, but when they was struggling a little bit, we had an opportunity. Butch did beat them 1 year, but we had an opportunity to kind of maybe play with them some. But Florida's been, we ought to beat them over the years more than we have beat them. They've been down. They've been, and we've not taken advantage as a program of opportunities step up. We let Vanderbilt during this period of time, James Franklin, because we were so bad, we was allowing them to beat us. We've not taken advantage as a program of winning the games. And then there's so many people, myself included, I think we'll win 10 games this year, or we'll do this, or we'll do that. But I look at other programs that I think we'll beat early on before the season even starts. That program's better. This other program I thought was worse. And we want to say, well, we was going to be this record anyhow. We figured this and it'd be all right. No, it's not all right. Those programs, the games we played, we had an opportunity to win. We didn't realize they'd be that bad, and we not took advantage of opportunities we was given. And I think it's very frustrating when we see, we really should have won that game, but we shot ourselves in the foot. Yeah, we have contributed to us being not as good because we not took advantage of opportunity. I see us come off of open dates, and we don't look as good as we should. I know we got injuries, and I know but the younger people should be worked on. You just get frustrated as a fan. You think you don't take advantage of your opportunities given the way you should.
All right, my man, Turkey Man. Thank you for the phone call. I mean, hey, Alabama, more talent. Georgia, more talent. You still should have beat Georgia. Oklahoma is a game where we looked at that game early in the season and said, should win, but
talent's equal, and you're at home.
But that pass rush is going to be the best in the conference. And, earlier John Montier was cooking, but the offense was terrible. I mean, the offense was terrible. The defense, held up as long as they could. They played well enough for us to win the game. And so that's really the only loss where it's like, wait, you were a better team, more talent, or talent equal, and you're playing at home. Georgia was a heartbreaker. You had opportunities to win. And then Alabama, listen, they're a top 5 team. I mean,
Georgia, you win if you make a kick.
You make a kick.
Alabama, what's that game look like in the fourth quarter if you don't run out in the same formation after a timeout right before halftime, and then your quarterback is late on the throw and doesn't throw it to the correct shoulder, throws it inside instead of to the pylon. I mean, what happens if it just, I don't know, ifs and buts, Yeah. But and you're in this situation because of missteps the last couple of years, at least with the defense. Something that you talked about earlier in the show is because you were kind of, I'm paraphrasing what you said, but you were playing around and not handling business the way you're supposed to the last couple of years. You're having to play young guys on the defensive side of the football because your previous recruiting classes have kind of fallen by the wayside at this point.
Hold on, Benjamin Thomas McKee. Let's back up my statement with some facts here. 2022 was a magical season, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of people on this team because of that 2022 season. And that's great. And you're supposed to capitalize. When you have a season like that, it's supposed to reflect in recruiting. Here's the 2023 recruiting class, Ben McKee. I'm on your site. Go Vols 247.
I appreciate the plug and the click.
Was ranked 11th nationally. So here's the 25 enrollees. What you laughing about, Ben? I ain't even started yet.
Can I guess how many players are still here?
You can guess. Go ahead.
I'll say 6 players.
All right. 6 is a guess. Here we go. Nico, not here. Hobbs is here. Cam Selden, not here. Laycock, receiver. Nathan, not here. Sham Umarov, here. Caleb Herring, here. Ethan Davis, here. Shadavion Bradley, not here. Arian Carter's here. Jordan Matthews, not here. Emmanuel Okoye hasn't done anything. Tyree Weathersby's here. Jalen Smith, not here. Rick Gibson, here. Vyson Lane. Where's Vyson Lane? He's not here, is he? Is he here?
No.
Nathan Robinson, here. Larry Johnson. Where Larry Johnson is? He here? No, he ain't here.
He's at Colorado.
He's in Colorado.
I bet he wishes he was here. Remember, he transferred in the spring after spring practice.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Isn't Vyson Lang at one of those? He's from Alabama, so
small
isn't
school.
he at one of those? He's at Troy.
Yeah. John Slaughter, not here.
He's at Colorado.
Aiden Bustle.
I bet John Slaughter wishes he was here.
I
He'd
know,
have
right?
plenty of opportunity in the secondary.
No. Aiden Bustle, not here. Trevor Duncan, not playing. Jeremiah Tielander, here. Khalifa Keefe, not here. Christian Collier, not here. Jack Luttrell, not here. Nate Spillman
Not here.
is not here.
I don't even know where he's at.
See what I'm saying?
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Nate Spillman is at Austin P.
How many guys you count this here?
10.
How many of those guys are
I mean,
big-time
I mean,
contributors for you?
you'd have to go back through it to name the players that are here. But I mean, it seemed like those guys that you mentioned are solid players in the rotation at minimum. Arion Carter, Jeremiah Tielander, Nathan Robinson, David Hobbs, Tyree Weathersby. Those are the ones I remember you saying off the top of my head from that class. I mean, they're good football players, solid football players for Tennessee. But the problem is, I mean, I'd be this is an off-season thing, but I'd be curious.
Oh,
to do a case.
it's off week. It's off week, Ben. It's the
No,
same.
no. What I'm about to say is, I'd be curious to know how often is this happening in college football? Because I doubt it's just a Tennessee issue. I would be curious to go through the SEC teams and count up how many guys are still on the roster from that was the 23 class.
Yeah, but to make it easy, Ben, it's about misses and makes. That's what it's about.
Sure.
It doesn't matter if they're from high school or the transfer portal. It's about misses or makes. It's like basketball. The team who makes more wins. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's about misses and makes and recruiting, and we just got to make more. We got to hit more on those players. That's all.
I mean, look at why was the receiver room what it was last season? Well, you missed on your evaluations with Nate Spillman and Nathan Laycock.
Ain't missing now.
Nope.
I mean, it's that simple.
I mean, they
misses
did a
and
good
makes.
job of bouncing back in the 24 class with Mike Matthews and
Yeah.
Braylon Staley. And it seems like they did well in the 25 class with Darius Jackson and Travis Smith Jr. We'll see what happens there. We really love the 26 class, receiver class with Celeste Moa. Although, if I'm Josh Heupel, Celeste Moa and Mike Matthews are getting moved to safety so I can bring Cam Coleman in this offseason. I'm joking for anybody that thinks I'm being serious. I'm not being serious.
I'm going to the phones.
But I really like Tristan Keys and Celeste Moa and the others. So Tennessee's receiver room seems to be healthy, but it's little things like that add up in the long run. And why, was it a decision to rely on your recruiting class this past offseason instead of overhaul things tremendously in the portal? Yes, that was a decision. But I also feel like it was a decision they were forced to make because of how many misses they had in the recruiting classes leading up to this past offseason.
Yeah, it's just important to kind of refresh why we are in the position that we're in, because folks be making statements like, "Oh, we just appeared here out of nowhere." No, there's a reason why you're here, and like, we don't need to be forgetting it. Okay, all right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Morning, Swain.
What up?
Morning, Ben.
What up? What up, Dustin?
Hey,
Justin.
it's Caleb,
Justin.
man.
No,
Yeah,
Dustin.
Caleb.
Caleb. Damn.
Caleb.
I
Yeah,
was
man.
close.
You always get me and him mixed up, man. We must sound alike.
No, I'm bad. I'm sorry.
You actually, I thought
no,
you
man,
sounded like Neil and Mafia for a moment.
No.
It's an insult.
No, I appreciate it, dudes. No, man, I was calling in. I'm obviously still disappointed about Saturday. That one's just a hard one to get over. But I do want to say something real quick, man. I just want to thank y'all, man, because you all showing up and doing this show for as long as y'all have, man. Y'all got people through. I know for me personally, y'all got me through a lot of up and down. Sometimes just, a break from everyday stresses and everyday things that happen in life. And it's so much more than a show in a lot of ways, man. In a way, some things that you and Ben, both of you, like some things y'all say and do, man, it's healing in a lot of ways. And I do want to, give you all your flowers now, because I think sometimes we just get caught up in so much stuff that's going on in life and sports and everything that we forget to thank the people that actually impact us for the positive, and you guys definitely do that. So I just wanted to say that before making my comment real quick, man. I appreciate you guys. I really, really do.
Thank you, man.
Swain, can you walk us through, like, I know what a bye week was back then as a player, like, what can we fix this week? Like, accountability and discipline. I feel like this generation probably struggles with that more than any I've seen. Maybe that's just me because I'm older, but what can we fix? Like, I mean, penalties are ridiculous. And to be honest with you, our defense is soft. Like, it is. And
ain't just defense.
What can we, I'm not, I was about to say, in our offense, like, and it's not even the receivers or anything like that, but man, like, and Aguilar's played okay. He has. He's done better than I even expected. I'm not singling that out, but man, the mentality, I guess, is what's soft on offense. It's just that all around, like, we don't look hungry. Can we address that? Is that something we can fix this week? And I'll hang up and listen to y'all's response, man.
Let me ask you something right quick, Caleb. Can you give me an example of offense not looking hungry?
Okay. When seeing you or Robert Meacham or seeing Dwayne Jennings taking the other pair, or Travis Henry, Stevens, things like that, even when it comes to the running game, Travis Henry, the way they would run was aggressive. It was hungry, like you wanted to prove yourself. I seen an interview a while back where we were talking about, like, and it was Nick Saban. He was talking about how, we beat this team, and if you want to celebrate that, that's fine, but we didn't dominate them the way that I know we can. And I think that this mentality, like, my example of that is sometimes not running the route all the way. Sometimes we're not hitting the hole the way that we need to. Sometimes our line ain't pushing them back on their toes the way that they need to be pushed back. And that killer instinct. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like a dog, maybe a dog mentality. I don't see an actual dog. Like, I see great players. Don't get me wrong. I think Mike Matthews has tremendous upside. Yeah. I think Brazel's playing great. I think Staley's doing great. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they're not playing great. They ain't got the killer in them. I don't see anybody who's like, man, we're up by 2 touchdowns. This ain't enough. Or I want more. I want to prove not just to the fans or even ESPN. I want to prove to myself that I'm putting the best tape on. And I don't see anybody truly that is like got that killer in them. I just don't see it. And maybe I'm wrong, but it looks soft to me. Like, if I don't see you want it that bad, like, sometimes you can look in a player's eyes, and maybe that's just me being in my head, but man, sometimes you can look in a player's eyes, Swain, and you could tell, like, does he got it today? And I'll be honest with you. And maybe I'm the first to say it, but Aguilar had a different look in his eyes last week. That could just be me thinking whatever, but he didn't look hungry to me. And I'm not hating on Aguilar. I like Aguilar. I'm just saying I don't see a real dog. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I appreciate that. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I hate that Caleb had to preface his statements by saying he wasn't hating, by making a you know observation that I'm pretty sure everybody else saw. Um, I do think there's some players on our team who are dogs, like they got a part of them, but the culture brings that out in more guys who may be borderline, and it brings it out even more in guys that have it too. And I'm not bringing up Texas A&M just because they're winning. I'm bringing up Texas A&M because of how they play it. And if you watch them play, you can see what I'm talking about. In 2 years, they went from being pushed around by Tennessee here to pushing everybody around in the SEC. And what they've done to change that was the head coach, which I'm not saying Tennessee needs to change head coaches, but they did change the strength coach. Whether you changing the strength coach or the philosophy of the current strength coach is changing, whatever we're doing now is not working. So it needs to change. And then you've changed some players. So the players have gotten better. They went to the portal. They've done a good job there. So I think it ain't just defense. It ain't just offense. I think as a team, I don't think we are as mentally tough as we need to be. I don't think we are as physically tough as we need to be. And running the football versus Mississippi State and Kentucky and like the runs that we've had against these teams, I didn't feel like we imposed our will and really controlled the line of scrimmage. That's something that a lot of it's going to have to be adjusted and addressed in the offseason. But the question Caleb had was, what can you do now? And what you could do now is you can knock the hell out of each other during this bye week, have some physicality in practice, and draw a line in the sand and say, hey, man, I know there's a thin line between risking injury with our guys in practice and not being physical enough. We have done it one way to this point of the season, and we've gotten pushed around too much. And if guys get hurt, guys get hurt. But we can't beat Florida and Vanderbilt being soft because they're physically tough. Like, you watch them play, they're physically.
Florida is?
I didn't say tougher. I said physically tough. You don't go toe to toe with Georgia unless you're physically tough. They got some big dudes up front. They got talent.
Well, Tennessee went toe to toe with Georgia. Is Tennessee physically tough?
In that game, they were tough enough for the majority of the game, but not at the end when it mattered most. We couldn't run the football. We couldn't stop them running the football. We weren't tough enough to win that game and run the ball when we needed to and stop them from running when we needed to. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So, against Florida, you're going to have to be able to run the football and stop the run in the fourth quarter unless you have a big enough lead where it doesn't matter. Vanderbilt, them dudes are tough. Them dudes are tough, okay? And so my point...
I'm glad everybody's starting to realize about Vanderbilt, and they're happy to come out and say it now.
All right, Vanderbilt.
Nobody wanted to hear this a month ago.
All right, Vanderbilt, we heard you, okay?
You dang right. Anchor down, baby.
So one thing you can change is the physicality. You can change physicality. This Thursday, so I mean, this is probably the last practice they're gonna have this week before letting guys go home. But I mean, I would hope that this week was more physical than it was last week. And then next week before you play New Mexico State, I hope it's a little bit more physical. And it's not about being more physical for New Mexico State because you're gonna beat New Mexico State if you go out there and play two-hand touch. Like, you're gonna beat them because you have better athletes. But this is more so about being able to finish with 2 wins rather than a split or rather than losing those 2. So what you can do to fix it now or address what's going on now, man, toughness, physicality, tackling. I mean, can't change personnel. Although you could sit Boo Carter down.
Boo Carter should be kicked off the team, but that's neither here nor there. I would encourage people to be slow to question somebody's toughness, effort, and whether they have a dog in them. I mean, we have this conversation after every single loss in every single sport.
As a team, Ben, not individually. I think
Caleb just pointed out Joey Aguilar specifically, which is why I'm making the point that I'm making.
Well, he said in his eyes, what did he say?
He didn't see the dog in his eyes.
Is that what he said? Did he say dog? Well, yeah. Go ahead. Continue. My bad.
I would just be cautious to do that because are there some guys that you can maybe question? I'm sure. I just don't think Joey Aguilar is one. Just because he played a bad game does not mean that he doesn't have that dog in him.
I agree.
I mean, he played really poorly, and I'm really not trying to call out Caleb. So, Caleb, I apologize for using you as an example, but this is a common theme on social media, message boards, radio shows after a loss in really any sport. I mean, some people were questioning whether the basketball team had that dog in them after Cameron Boozer grabbed 30,000 rebounds in an exhibition loss. It happens after every loss, and I just feel like it's low-hanging fruit. I mean, Caleb referenced you as a dog. Did you have a bad football game at Tennessee individually?
Yeah.
Does that mean that you weren't a dog all of a sudden? I mean, Joey Aguilar, some of the hits that he's taken, lowered his shoulder to try and run defenders over when he should get down and slide or get out of bounds. And, I mean, leading the offense down the field in Starkville to score the game-tying touchdown to send it to overtime. I mean, Joey has not played perfect football, but it ain't been because of – it's been because of lack of ability at times, not because of lack of toughness or anything along those lines. So I would just be careful because I think lack of ability and not executing, not making plays can come across as not playing with effort. There's only, from my seat this season, there's only been one guy on this team that has not played with effort. Effort has not been an issue with this team. And to me, I reference effort. I think effort and having that dog in you kind of go hand in hand to a certain extent. You can't have one without the other, at least if you're a dog, to me.
Yeah, if I missed Caleb saying that Joey, wasn't a dog, then I apologize. I didn't catch that part. But, yeah, I agree with your whole point that just because, you have, some players that didn't play well doesn't mean that they're not a dog. But I think as a team, we're talking about the team physicality and toughness. I don't think it's where it needs to be. But I do agree with you there. 865-250-503. We got to get to the text box, but first we'll take a brief time out. 865-250-503. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. I'm Jason Swain. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
What's up, Swain Event crew? Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. Fall sports can be a roller coaster ride for us fans. The excitement, drama, and passion will make us crazy sometimes. I can't manage the games, but I can help you manage your real estate needs while you're cheering on the Vols. Reach out at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Guys, you can feel your energy slipping away, losing what makes you, you. It could be low testosterone. Take action now. Low T Center can help reclaim your energy with a quick and simple free T-test. Visit Low T Center and receive pharmaceutical-grade testosterone never compounded like other clinics. Experienced providers increase your testosterone to the level that is just right for you. Treatment is covered by most major insurance with affordable self-pay options available. The best you is waiting. Book your free T-test at trtmvp.com. When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Just because you can't call in doesn't mean that you have to sit on the sideline. Impact the show with a text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
Going to the phones, 865-255-03, Garza Law Hotline. Good morning.
Good morning, Swain.
What up? What up?
How's it going, man?
Good, good. Who are we speaking with this morning?
It's Dustin.
Dustin. See, I get Dustin and
Hey,
Caleb
buddy.
mixed up. See, they sound alike, don't they, Ben? Kind of. Dustin, good morning.
A little bit. Hey, I got two quick questions, real quick. And one of them, you know, looking back, hindsight's 2020. I don't want to beat a dead horse. And I want to say this way everybody understands where I'm coming from. I absolutely love Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like, I do not want him fired. I love the way the man calls offense. He may have too much on his plate trying to do it all. Maybe he needs some help. At the end of the day, he's the best thing that's happened in Tennessee. I'm 34 years old. I got to watch a national championship when I was a little kid, and then I watched many years of us getting our tails beat. He's the best thing that's happened to us in pretty much my life outside of the national championship. So I want to preface it by saying that. Now I want to say this. At the end of the spring, he said something that galvanized the fan base, man. I mean, I'm talking, everybody was talking about it. Mm-hmm. Nobody is bigger than what?
The Power T.
The Power T.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and the fan base got behind that and everything. And then we come out and in the summertime, we heard the Boo Carter stuff. And then we was told what? Well, the player council decided there's going to get, with the help of the coaches and the player, we're going to give him one more chance. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what was said. I mean, if I'm wrong, tell me.
No, you ain't wrong. He's still on the team.
But then we got to the games, and I know you mentioned this, and I'm bringing this up because of something you said Tuesday. The standard is the standard, is what you said Tuesday, and that's running through my mind all week long. The standard is the standard. We got to uphold the standard. And then I remember the first or second game, I was listening to you all on the show, and you all were talking about, well, Boo Carter made a play, but it seemed like none of the teammates were slapping his butt or giving him a high five. Well, that makes me start to question if the player council really voted to keep him on the team or if the coaches decided to keep him on the team because maybe they have a bunch of money invested tied up in him. And so the hard question, the hard look is, at the end of the day, if nobody's more important than the team, and you said that, you come out, and that was a statement that will ring through the fan base forever. I mean, that was like a president giving a presidential speech, buddy, to Tennessee fans. Mm-hmm. Nobody's more important than the team. Then, my God, that means Boo Carter, too. And you said that Tuesday, Jason, about the standard, man. And that just keeps ringing through my mind because y'all were talking about earlier how kind of maybe, you know, the kids are soft these days. Well, they think they're owed everything. You know, that they get these NIL contracts, they get this money before they get to the camp. And I was scared to death when they started talking about money in college athletics because I think we all knew it was going to change the game. And that was one of the things that was kind of one of the things I was worried about was would them kids come to the University of Tennessee that still love the university? You know, I mean, listen, I'm not stupid, right? Like, I get it. Players have been getting paid for a long, long time.
What?
But you know that now.
Since when?
But now, Jason.
I'm just joking.
As my dad would say, now, Dustin, right?
I'm just joking. Go ahead.
But man, it's like, you know, the generations have changed. Now these kids think they're owed. They're owed it, right? And so I want to ask you. I know you've already talked on this a little bit this morning. What's it going to take to uphold that standard? Who are the guys on this team that are your enforcers? Because I believe you have to have that on a football team, man, because it's a rough sport. At the end of the day, we can get soft as we want to in this world, but football's still got to be a tough sport. You're putting pads on and asking to go hit somebody full throttle. So who on our team, Jason, is the dog? Who is that guy that's saying, I mean, is anybody going over there and saying, hey, man, he's not playing? It's clear to see. Let's put him on the bench. And then are the adults in the situation the ones that are saying all the right things? Nobody's more important than the team. But let's see it. I mean, I get it. Nobody wants to be the first one to say, well, we had to pull money from a kid because he wasn't playing. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? And it's you know, Tennessee's been at the forefront of a lot of things, good and bad. It seems like, but man, we're the first one to get a star quarterback. Then we first one for a star quarterback to jet somewhere else, and we get that person's second dance. But the second dance has turned out better than the first. Wow. And I just, you was talking about upholding that standard, man. That's really wrong with me all week. And I just want you to, if you can, just talk on that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, we got 3 ball games left, and I hope to God that by that last ball game, we've got this figured out, because if we lose to Vanderbilt, and I know Ben's done said, well, they're it's the best team they've had. Dude, I don't care.
Can't lose Vanderbilt.
It's black and gold,
Can't lose
and it is Vanderbilt. It is little brother down west.
Can't lose Vanderbilt.
You know what I mean?
I know
that game's got a lot of coaches around here fired.
It has. A lot of assistants.
So, Jason, if you don't care, man, just talk on the dog aspect of it. Appreciate it, buddy.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. We mentioned what we mentioned and what we observed from Boo Carter during the front of the season, because I think we had a good idea that we would be here with him. When he was brought back on the team, you can go back and listen to the podcast. It's still up. I was like, man, I'm surprised, because I don't think we would have had a player come back like that, missing all that stuff. I don't know what other schools will allow a player to miss what he missed and be able to play. Oh, okay. And then I think it's unfair to make it seem like the players were okay with him coming back. I think Dustin did a pretty good job. I think he did a great job of putting 2 and 2 together, noticing that there's not much interaction between Boo and his teammates when he makes a good play. I mean, it's been obvious all year long. Players tried to hold him accountable. They tried to. They did. So I think it's unfair to look at the locker room and make it seem like they just cool with Boo doing what he was wanting to do, and no one tried to step up and hold him accountable.
Weren't there rumors about a fight?
Ben,
seems to be passion involved with that.
I will say, Ben, that
I don't know about you, but I've never heard of a player confronting another player not having passion. Not caring, not having effort.
I will say that players tried to hold Boo accountable. That's what I'm saying. So I know what you're saying, but that's what I'm saying. And y'all can put 2 and 2 together. So I think it's unfair that the players are being looked at as, not having passion, not having pride, not trying to stand up and do what they feel like is right. And no, Boo was on the team, and look where we are now. This was a major mismanagement by Josh Heupel. And
it's that simple.
It's really that simple.
It's really that simple. He never. I mean, Dustin hit the nail on the head. It was a great comment, a great quote after Nico left, that nobody's bigger than the power T. But you contradicted yourself when you allowed Boo Carter to stick around, because in that moment you're enabling Boo Carter to be bigger than the T. When what Boo Carter did was just as bad, if not worse, than Nico.
Pretty much.
And, I mean, we said it at the time that he shouldn't be on the team. His teammates didn't want him on the team at the time. And his teammates were watching to see how that situation would be handled by the adults. And I'm kind of stunned that Heupel made that decision, because one of the things that I have long applauded Heupel for, one of the things he does best, is how he sets a culture and maintains a culture. And that spits in the face of maintaining a healthy culture. It makes no sense to me. Like, the money aspect of it doesn't make sense to me. You let Nico walk. He was making more than Boo.
Nico walked. And then what was said was said. Understand, Josh Heupel's comments came after Nico refused to talk to anybody, and then talked to Halsley after they couldn't get in contact with him for hours and hours and hours. They finally get in contact with him. That's when Nico said that he can't do it anymore. The next morning was a spring game. That's when Josh Heupel said what he said. So it wasn't like we told Nico bye. Nico told us bye, and then we said what we said. That's what happened.
I think you kind of told him bye when you
that's not what happened.
Did not agree to pay him the $4 million that he wanted.
No, that's not when you told him bye.
Huh?
You didn't tell him bye then.
I'm trying to think of possible reasons that Boo Carter was allowed to stay on the team. And one of the points that Dustin mentioned in his phone call.
I can tell you that reason.
What? Because of what he did last football season?
No.
Because of how he was talented, or the potential that he has?
That's some of it.
I mean, if that's the reason, then again, you're contradicting yourself when you say that nobody's bigger than the power T.
I think the backlash was something that you'd be afraid of.
The backlash of what? You weren't afraid of the backlash from Nico. Of Mama Carter? That's the backlash you're worried about? And I want to finish my point to explain the money thing. Dustin was also trying to figure out why Boo was left on the team, and he mentioned maybe because you have that much money tied up into him, and I don't think that was the reason, because you had so much money tied up into him.
No,
and that's why I mentioned Nico. You also had a lot of money tied up into Nico as well.
But saying Nico quit the team. That's
Boo basically quit the team in the summer. When you're not showing up, I mean
But he always came back, and you allowed him to come back. So it's different. You could have handled it right then, but you allowed him to come back after he held you hostage and was about to hit the portal, not hit the portal, about to hit the portal, not hit the portal, got more money. Ricky Gibson was like, hell no, I need to get paid too. And then all these other folks start hearing what Boo was making, because Boo Carter's can't keep their mouth closed about what they got. If you know that this young man's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, or your teammate's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, and then you hear the number that he's getting because people on his side are telling everybody, that doesn't help the situation one bit.
No. My point, I don't think that because of how much money Boo was making is why he was allowed to stay on the team.
I don't think so either.
All I'm saying. And I don't think at that point the only injury you had in the secondary was Jermon McCoy. So it's not like we have all these injuries. He can stick around for that reason. Look, I mean, you can talk about being afraid of the backlash. There's not a reason on this earth that makes sense to me as to why he was allowed to stay on the football team.
It doesn't make sense to me either. It doesn't make sense to me either. All right, going back to the phones. Good morning. Hello?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, I called in about, 3 weeks ago about a wedding I had to go to, if you guys remember about that.
Oh, man. Yes.
I'm 0-2 with the weddings, just so you guys know now, unfortunately. But I was calling in about recruiting, and I was looking at the 2026 defensive class, what we got coming in for, corners and safeties. And I got to looking, we got 5 3-stars, for corners and maybe 2 safeties in there, something like that. And then we only have, 2 elite 4-stars coming in. I forget their names. I'm not looking at it right now. But I was calling to see, man, this is the home of Eric Berry and, Cam Sutton, some hard-hitting son of guns, and playmakers. And, why can we not get the Caleb Downses and, all that and stuff? But I'll listen. I'll hang up. But thank you, guys. Love the show.
Thank you. That's good. We don't know how good these guys are going to be, but it's it's hard to look at the rankings and feel like that they're not going to be what we've had in recent years. Your head don't itch, Ben. No, your head don't itch. Don't be trying to pretend like you're scratching your head.
When was the last time?
Your head don't itch.
When was the last time Tennessee had a safety that just had an awesome career at Tennessee and drafted high and went on and made a bunch of plays in the league and made money in the league? When was the last time that happened?
It's been a while, Ben.
It was Eric Berry. And what year was that?
It's hard
that
to
got
find
drafted?
another Eric Berry, but I get what you're saying.
He was the 09 draft. Yeah, and I'm not saying – well, Caleb Downs is the next Eric Berry. And
yeah, but I think our caller needs to temper that down a little bit. Caleb Downs and Eric Berry's on growing trees.
But his point is, why is Tennessee –
we don't have to use those guys as a point. Just get somebody that can tackle in space and be at least second team All-SEC or third team All-SEC. Just that.
But yes, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I also it's a fair question. Why is Tennessee not recruiting, not getting the 5-star safety, elite high-level 4-star safeties to campus? That's a fair question, and that's what Caleb Downs is coming out of high school. That's what Eric Berry is coming out of high school. I know those are extreme examples, but why is Tennessee not getting that level of recruit coming out of high school is a fair question.
Well, here's my question.
And my point of Tennessee hasn't had a truly successful safety since Eric Berry. And what draft was that? 09? That's why they're not getting them, because they're not developing safeties and putting them in the league. Your best safety, you have 2 safeties in the league right now. One of them is playing better post Tennessee than he did at Tennessee in Jalen McCullough. The NFL is getting more out of Jalen McCullough than Tennessee did. And your other safety is an awesome story in Theo Jackson, who didn't do anything until his senior year at Tennessee. And even at that point, wasn't Theo undrafted or maybe a 7th-round pick? I mean, when those are your 2 best examples of what you're doing at safety, the Caleb Downs, the Eric Berrys, the 5-star recruiting profiles, the high-level 4-star recruiting profiles that everybody clamors for, they're not coming to Tennessee.
Well, here's the thing that you have to ask yourself, because I think even bringing up Eric Berry is unfair, because that's once in a lifetime talent. Just bring in. Give me some Jonathan Hefneys. Give me some Jonathan Hefneys, guys that.
I take Jonathan Hefney, Jason Allen all day right now.
Hold on. Jason Allen, 1st-round pick. He's a top 10 pick. Give me some Jonathan Hefneys, guys who are all SEC, third team, second team, honorable mention, that borderline NFL player. Like, give me that. Because you got to think about where we are right now. We're talking about Eric Barrett. That's on another planet. We got it's levels to this. Just give me a honorable mention, third team, all SEC player that's a borderline pro player. Like that first, okay? Then we can start talking about, Caleb Downs and Eric Berry and Tyrann Mathieu and all those guys. But here's the question I have. Who is responsible for stamping defensive players that we evaluate, recruit? Is that Tim Banks? Is that Billy High, who handles the roster?
Basically the GM.
Basically the GM. Or is that head coach? It doesn't really matter who it is. We just know it needs to be better.
Well, I would hope it would be in terms of just speaking about safety play, I would hope it would be the defensive coordinator who's making a lot of money, who is in charge of coaching up the safeties.
Correct.
I hope it would
Yeah.
be him. And I hear you what you're saying. I was just speaking to the question of why has Tennessee not been able to attract that high level 4-star and that 5-star out of the recruiting ranks.
Give me Jabril Wilson, what 44 Vol said. Give me Todd Kelly Jr. That's what I'm talking about. Just give me better than what we have. All right. Rodney and Austell says Coach Caldwell is an example of no one's bigger than the T. Yes. Coach Caldwell kicked a player off.
Yeah.
Kicked the player off. Josh Heupel hasn't kicked anyone off since Caden Salter, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it Heupel that kicked off Caden Salter?
Yeah. Remember, Heupel inherited the job. Caden Salter got arrested the second time.
Yes.
And then he let him go, which was easier to do because he didn't recruit him.
Yes. And he had not played a snap yet.
Yeah. Remember, Gerald Mincy, last time I went down to Florida, got arrested on a Thursday, still played, but didn't play offense. Now, what sense did that make?
Hey, it sounds like Boo Carter.
So it's just time for Josh Heupel to start laying the slap down. That's all.
It's just like, and I hate belaboring the Boo Carter stuff. There was somebody on the text box that said they're tired of talking Boo Carter at this point, and I agree with you. I really do agree with you. I'm tired of it
shouldn't have to talk
too.
about it.
But it's so dumbfounding. I mean, you don't play him on defense because he's playing poorly, because he's not playing with effort, but you're going to play him on special teams when he has muffed multiple punts this year and seems uninterested in even being on special teams. How does that make sense?
I said this on TV.
How?
I said this on TV. Just don't put anybody back there. Let it roll.
Yes.
I mean, it's better than that, what we saw on Saturday.
Now, I asked Josh Heupel about the punt returns yesterday, and he seemed to insinuate that Boo had the green light to return some of those punts because Heupel said that there were some missed opportunities. I asked, there seemed to be some opportunities that Boo did not take advantage of, and Heupel went on to point out that there were some missed opportunities. So, to me, that would insinuate that Boo had the option of returning those punts. But I just, if you're not going to play him on defense, don't play him on special teams, because it seemed like the not playing him on defense was a punishment. So how does that not also apply to special teams when he's muffed multiple punts? Didn't one bounce off his face mask against Oklahoma?
Man, you know
and he had to fall on it?
Man, you know what?
It's just baffling to me because Heupel seems too good to be making this poor of a decision.
You're not surprised, man. It's not.
I am surprised because
baffling.
this is beneath Heupel. Heupel is too good of a football coach and CEO to continue to make this dumb decision time and time again.
He's not playing on defense because you don't need him to play on defense. He's playing on special teams. Huh?
You don't need him on defense.
No, because he doesn't know where he's going. He busts too much. That's why he's not playing, because they don't trust him to play him. The reason why he's playing on special teams is because you don't have anybody else They
How?
can return punts.
Why? Why can't Mike Matthews do it or Braylon Staley do it?
Braylon
They're
Staley,
just fair catching them anyways.
Braylon Staley was 0 for 2 the last time he was returning punts.
Okay, Mike Matthews is, Boo Carter is 4 for 10.
Okay.
Boo's had his fair share of muffs this year too.
I'm telling you the reason that no one else can do it. That's
Mike
why
Matthews can't do it. Wasn't Mike Matthews a returner in high school? Wasn't DeJuan Morris a returner in high school? You're telling me there's nobody on an SEC football team, a high-level SEC football team, where these guys were the best athletes on their teams in high school. Nobody can field punts?
I'm telling you the reasons why they're not here. They obviously don't have the trust to be back there, or they would, and Boo Carter would not be playing at all anywhere.
Well, then go back to what you said a moment ago, because, again, Boo Carter has muffed several punts this year. It's not like Boo Carter has just been flawless catching the punts this year either.
I know.
He hasn't had a successful moment on punt return since the East Tennessee State game, and that was week 2.
Yeah.
So don't put anybody back there because Boo Carter's not doing the job successfully.
That's
I mean, he's playing just as poorly on special teams as he is on defense.
I'm just trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying, Ben. I'm just saying.
Desan Brame returned punts for touchdowns in high school. Put him back there to catch it.
Just put somebody back there to catch it, right? Oh man, come on, hype man. We want you to get it right, man. Because I like Josh Heupel. I do. I really like Josh Heupel. I like him, man. I think he loves his place, and man, I want him to be successful here. I really do. But he's gonna have to make some changes, and I hope he does it. I hope he does it, man. I really do.
I tell you what, it's gonna be hard for him to get the LSU job at this point.
I ain't worried about Josh Heupel on LSU. I ain't worried about nothing that. I think it's probably a good place to take our ass home somewhere. It's probably a good time just to pack it in, boys and girls, and take it in for the day.
C-Mac Ruby Whitehorn got kicked off because that was her. It was over weed, but it was her second time getting arrested, and the first time was not just over weed. Like she had just gotten back on the team like a month ago.
Yeah, and she was stupid for being out at 4:30 in the morning.
Yes, after a game.
Yeah, that's worse than the weed.
Yes. Why are you out at 4:30 after a game? That makes no sense to me.
I just said that Ben is getting sassy in his old age.
I turned 30 and now I'm getting sassy.
Yeah,
I just it makes no sense to me. Heupel's too good of a football coach to make this bad of a decision, and I thought it was a bad decision at the time. So this is not me saying this in hindsight. I don't remember if I said it on air, but I remember texting it to Swain, and my coworkers can back me up as well, Patrick Brown and Ryan Callahan, that I thought it would be the worst decision of his era, of his tenure, to allow Boo Carter to remain on the football team.
Well, here's the thing, Ben. This is gonna be the last thing I'll say, so that way it resonates. Josh Heupel is a good football coach. Coaching football is teaching the game, helping players improve. Josh Heupel could do that. There's a difference between being a football coach and being a CEO, head football coach. And being a football coach is more than just calling plays and drawing up plays. At this level, it's about running an organization. It's about running a business. It's about being a CEO. It's about holding people accountable, players and coaches. It's about tackling confrontation sometimes, as well as not engaging in confrontation. There's tough decisions that have to be made. And not everybody's going to like it. And some people don't get fired. And some people don't get mad at you. Some people don't get their feelings hurt. But you have to do what's best for the Power T, for the organization. And that is the difference between being a football coach, play caller, and being a head coach, CEO. Lane Kiffin is in the best position of his life right now. He has peace. It used to be about him when he was calling plays, when he was here at Tennessee, when he was at USC. He don't call plays at Ole Miss. Charlie Weiss Jr. calls plays. This is Lane's best coaching job of his career. He lost all that talent last year to the NFL. They went big in the portal, but this is his best team. This is his best and most impressive coaching job. He has peace. He's a CEO. He lets his coordinators coach, do their thing. That's where Josh Heupel has to get to. He can't do it all. He can't. He's just one dude, just one person. He's a heck of a football coach. He's a heck of a person. Heupel's an awesome dude. But for him to be successful as we want him to be, as he wants himself to be, if everybody wants him to be, he's going to have to be a better CEO and manage situations like Boo Carter better, not ever let them get to where they are. That's what he has to do moving forward. Ben, the floor is yours before we close.
I don't have anything to add. You hit the nail on the head. C-Mac asks if a general manager would help in this situation. I think
we have one.
They do have one, essentially. They just haven't come out and said it
they just
for
don't
whatever
call him.
reason.
They don't call him a general manager. But Billy High is that guy.
Yeah.
He just calls something different.
Yeah. So that I just to simply answer the question, I do think that it would help just lessen the load that Josh Heupel has to deal with. But to Swain's point, they have a good support staff, like a recruiting support staff of folks that you don't hear their name a lot. Scott Altizers, the Billy Highs, so on and so forth, the Trey Johnsons. They have kind of some de facto GMs, but Billy High is really taking on that role. So I do think it would help C-Mac to just simply answer your question, and it does seem like they have the people in place.
So everything has to be better. Everybody has to be better for next year if we want to really get where we want to go. So thanks for the listen. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. We'll do this again on Tuesday. Until then, peace and much love. We are out.